I call the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I want to start off by broadly agreeing with the opening points that Amy Adams made, and at the same time congratulate her on her promotion to the Chair of the Finance and Expenditure Committee. I think she knows that I think that she should be in Cabinet because she's got more talent than many of the junior members, but at least it's recognition and a step in the right direction for her, although it might be some time, of course, until she got where she should have been earlier this year. Mr Speaker, and the points that I want to agree with her on is that it is very important. I think all of us know that it is important that the quality of broadband can make an enormous difference to the quality of life for people and the way that our economy works. I also agree with her point, and I think it's a point that the Minister in charge, that this is part of the country's infrastructure now in a way that sewage, water, telephones, power and other utilities are. And I think part of the problem that has occurred with this minister has been that he has been caught up in the excitement of the stuff which is built on top of this infrastructure, the electronic stuff and the add-ons, and he has therefore lost focus on essentially what is happening here. What is happening, Mr Speaker, is that we are having fibre laid. It is effectively a pipe. We are having something through which electronic signals go. I don't pretend to understand how it works. And we're having that fibre laid around the country in places that it wouldn't be laid otherwise. Mr Speaker, this is being encouraged in two ways. One, by a very attractive subsidy to telecom in particular from the government, and secondly by a regulatory arrangement which ensures that they make hyper profits as a result of this investment. And I want to say to the Minister that it is my view that Telecom would have done this with either the subsidy or the regulatory preference that they have, and he did not need to do both. And what we've seen, I think, is a case of him being conned by a company which has clearly superior PR, superior legal and superior technical people to the people who were giving him immediate advice. Mr Speaker, I want to focus on the important thing that is happening here, and that is the lower level, the bottom of this, the way that it was originally started, and that was the laying of the fibre and not the add-ons, because I think that is the difference that's happening here, and it's where the focus should be. Mr Speaker, I want to ask the government to focus on the returns which Telecom is giving. The figures that the Minister and I think the committee got was that there was an average cost per connection of $2,500. $2,500 per connection was the average cost. Mr Speaker, Telecom has announced, and the Minister has agreed, and he's underwritten this figure, a $37.50 a month charge for the basic services. $37.50 a month charge for the basic services. Mr Speaker, that's an 18% per year return. Telecom is getting at least double the risk-free rate of return that they should be getting. They are getting 18%. I'm going to be interested in the comments from Roger Douglas from ACT about these regulatory arrangements. But, Mr Speaker, that's for the basic level. But what Telecom say is that the average cost, and this is the average cost that has been agreed to as part of these arrangements by the Minister, the average cost per consumer is $50. Mr Speaker, that equates to a 24% risk-free rate of return for Telecom on the $2,500 that they are putting into every connection. And I say to the government, what business is it of any government. I don't want to sound too much like Roger Douglas, but Mr Speaker, I have some sympathy for his views on excessive regulation in this area. What business is it of the Crown to guarantee to Telecom, a foreign-owned company, a 24% rate of return at least until 2020 on their investment? Mr Speaker, it is wrong, it is excessive, and to have a minister who stands behind them and guarantees that, Mr Speaker, is inappropriate. The other question I want to ask is, why did the minister last July, and I want to sort of do the water analogy because I understand that better, move from having the pipe as the key part where the separation would occur to having the pipe and the taps? What we have now is effectively Telecom with the power to turn the tap up or down with the pipe so that individuals can get better quality, they can get a lot more broadband. It costs Telecom nothing extra at all, but if you're prepared to pay the $100, $200 or $400 a month instead of the $37.50, you can get what the government has paid for. And I just want to ask people, why should Telecom, who face no additional costs whatsoever, we have an unconstricted broadband arrangement. We were meant to get unconstricted access for everybody, but what Stephen Joyce has given to Telecom is the right to turn the tap right down for a lot of consumers unless they agree to pay an excessive amount of money to Telecom. And that will last until 2020. Mr Speaker, what I don't know, I'm going to, I think, be kind to Stephen Joyce and say that he doesn't understand what he's doing. I think that is the kindest thing. Because if he did understand what he was doing, if he understood that he was giving Telecom on average a 24% rate of return, but more importantly, saying to every school around the country, all very well Anne Tolley paying for effectively the pipes to go into the schools, that's what's occurring, but saying to the decile 1 schools in my electorate, you don't pay $37.50 a month, you pay $400 a month in order to get $400 a month in order to get the unconstricted access to it, which is available. It costs Telecom not a cent more. It costs Telecom not a cent more to turn the tap on. Why is that fair? How can that be fair? The government has already paid for this fibre. The subsidy has occurred, and what we're allowing is Telecom to extract what in my view, is economic rent in a way which is totally inappropriate from there. Mr Speaker, there's been a lot of discussion about the involvement of the Commerce Commission. There's a debate, and it'll be an ongoing debate about whether the arrangement that is there now is better than the arrangement was there before. My view, frankly, is that they are both dogs. But, Mr Speaker, the idea that a government will underwrite if Telecom are found to act uncompetitively, as they have on dozens of occasions in the past, the government will pay their bills. The government will pay the bills for anti-competitive behaviour if it's found to be that by the Commerce Commission. Mr Speaker, what sort of democracy do we live in? This is the sort of arrangement that I would expect from Mugabe or people in the old Soviet Union or countries like that. But, Mr Speaker, what it does show, and I just want to go back, is either we have a minister who doesn't understand what he's done, or we have someone who is in the pocket of an international company, and what he has done is he has turned on a money tap, 24% return guaranteed to Telecom. Mr Speaker, it stinks. Mr Speaker, it stinks, and it is wrong.
Point of order, the Honourable Tau Henare.
Mr Speaker, to say that the government is in the pocket of some foreign country, some foreign company or country is not allowed, sir. You cannot accuse the government of being in the pocket of somebody overseas or anybody.
Yes, can I just refer the Honourable Trevor Mallard to Speaker's Rulings 51/5 and 52/1, that it's not in order to say dictated to or received instructions or directions or anything like that to imply those imputations. The member has finished his speech. I was going to ask him to desist.
Mr Speaker.